What's up, guys? So I just got back home from my brother's house, watching the Florida-Texas A&M game. Figure it's better for me to actually immediately make a video about this so you can see these videos more raw. Cause I typically like to wait before the game because I like to actually think about it to make sure I'm not being overly emotional and being overly dramatic, because I like to be true and like to think as logical as possible when I'm talking sports here. But this is kind of past that because, this is, I know if you didn't watch the game and you just saw the score, you would think, okay, not that terrible. Certainly better than against Miami, but it looks like Florida was in it. They lost 33-20. It's not that bad, not terrible. It was bad. It was really bad. It was they dominated. It was just like the game against Miami. Just like Miami, only it was worse than the score showed. Billy Napier was true. He stayed true to his word that he was going to start Graham Mertz, but give DJ Lagway playing time. So what he was doing, he went back and forth with them and per possession. So Graham Mertz started the first drive, and then the next time Florida got the ball, it'd be DJ Lagway, and then the next time Florida gets the ball, it'd be Graham Mertz. It was back and forth. And like I said in my previous video, and like I said to a bunch of other people who were all in on DJ Lagway after playing against essentially a high school football team, he wasn't as good. I mean, threw a touchdown, but threw 2 interceptions and was nowhere near as efficient. He's talented. He's more talented than Graham Mertz, but we're not playing Sanford. We're playing Texas A&M, who, yes, not as good as I and most people thought. They're still light years better than Sanford, okay? Light years. And it's a different animal, especially for DJ Lagway. He's still raw. He's still inexperienced. This might help him in the long run, or it might or honestly, I don't know. I hope it does. I hope this gives him experience, but there's also a world where this takes away his confidence. But that's not the point about this. The point is winning this game, and he wasn't as good. Graham Mertz was okay. Played much better than against Miami, in my opinion. There was a point where late in the game because Texas A&M missed their second field goal, and we got the ball back down by 13 with a little under 4 minutes left. Theoretically, we can come back. There's a world we can actually come back and get it. At this point, it looked like Graham Mertz was having a much better game. The one interception that he threw was tipped and caught by Texas A&M for a touchdown. That was not on him. Very unlucky. It just kind of gets snatched, it kind of get connected to DK, and he was much better. Not as great as in last season, but still improved. And Billy Napier still didn't play him. He still went back and forth. And like I said in a previous video, I admire his confidence. Sometimes it comes to the point where you're just being arrogant, or something like that. You just think yours is that you're being too stubborn. and it was bad. Texas A&M's quarterback. They didn't play Connor Wakeman, and I said like there could be a world where that might benefit them. That guy's pretty good. That guy, a redshirt freshman, was a lot of times was almost like playing another Cam Ward. You know, I can't believe I'm going to say this, and I haven't said this in some time. I feel like our defense is actually worse than our offense. It's worse. It is awful. Like, we couldn't. The only reason why they only that we ever had a chance to come back from what, at least for a moment, it felt like, was because they really eased off the gas. You know, like they knew they had the game won. They felt like they had the game won, and they kind of did. And of course, in reality, they did. You know, because we stink. This is an awful football team. I'm not exaggerating. I think this is the worst Florida football team I've seen in my lifetime. And we've had some bad ones. 2013, we went 4-8. It was the first time we missed out in a bowl berth in like decades. But that was because we were being swarmed and piled with injuries and injuries upon injuries. And then 2017 was, of course, what was his name? Jim McElway's last season. Got fired in the middle of the season, and the team just gave up. The team gave up. And I can understand why. They were just in a terrible, terrible place. And then 2021 was Dan Mullen's last season. He got fired very late in the season, and there were a lot of stuff going on about the stuff that he would say off the field, whether it's never his team's fault, where he never takes responsibility, he never blames himself or his players per se, or in the past maybe thought about like looking at jobs. It was just a really bad look, and the team really gave up. That was very unwatchable. We made a bowl game, but I remember it was just plain unwatchable. In this case, they're not like putting in zero effort. They're trying. You can tell that they are trying. The difference is we have no talent. We stink. It's awful. Like I cannot believe this Florida football team, the University of Florida Gators, who I became a football fan because of them, watching them win a championship game in 2006 and all the buzz of Tim Tebow. The first football season I watched was 2007, one of the greatest college football seasons of all time. Tim Tebow winning the Heisman. That whole era was amazing. Peak one of the all-time peaks of Florida football history, and this is what we have to deliver. This is SEC football. We don't even have a chance against beating top teams, much less in the SEC, and most of them are in the SEC. And Texas A&M, like, we'll see if they turn the season around. God, I hope so. Just like I'm hoping Miami is. I can't believe I'm rooting for Miami to win a freaking football game. That's where we're at, and it's Texas A&M is not the worst part of our schedule, okay? Like, we're playing next week. We're going on the road against Mississippi State. Mississippi State's up there with one of the worst football teams in the SEC. We're playing on the road. I really don't know if we're going to win. I could see us win that game, I guess. But from what I've seen, I'm not too sure. Then we have a bye week and get ready for UCF. I don't think we're going to win that. Yeah, I know we're going to have a bye. We had no talent. It's no one. We look like a freaking FCS school. We have about as, I can't believe I'm about to say this. We have about as much talent as University of Colorado. That's how bad it is. Lacking depth, lacking talent, and we're not gonna. And I don't think we're gonna win another football game. It's gonna get tough. The we haven't gone through the biggest meat part of the schedule, and this is how we're performing. And it's because of these many reasons and and other undisclosed reasons that I have not said, but other people that have stated. It's why Billy Neighbor. I'm going to say Billy Neighbor should get fired. I would not be surprised if he gets fired tonight. Maybe he gets fired by the time I'm currently making this video, or the next day. I don't know. I guess they could wait until Mississippi State because we could beat them. I mean, Mississippi State's that bad. I could see us beating them, but again, it's not a prediction video for that game. But I was really trying to be there for supporting Billy Napier. You know, I never jumped on the fire Napier train at all this off season because I want to see what he can do. He's been placed in a very, very, very terrible situation as a head coach for Florida, leaving the mess that Dan Mullen left. Coming into the mess that Dan Mullen left, and is faced with immediate tough schedules. You know, he had and trying his best, and he's gone worse. His first season, we went 6-7, which was at that time kind of a disappointment. A lot of us were expecting him to be like 8-4 or 7-5, but we still were there for him because we made a bowl game. It was his first season. We're gonna shake it off and up to next season. And while next season and while the last season, I say we were better than the year before on the field. We just were faced with a more difficult schedule. And while I really do believe that, you still can lose the 5 games in a row. We lost the last 5 games. That is unacceptable. That cannot happen if you're a head coach for the Florida Gators in football. And this is where we're at. I said after the Miami game, this was going to be a long season, and I think this only confirms it, guys. This is not going to be good. This is I don't know when we're going to come back, guys.